Hi, I'm Ryan, and welcome to another episode of Corner Office. I'm here with Mayor Arthur Vigeant. How you doing, Mayor?
Fantastic.
That's what I love to hear. We've got some easy questions for you this time around.
You said that last time.
Well, I can't grill you here. That's for another time. So first thing I have here is bond approval for streets and water repairs.
Yeah, no, the council was great. Monday night, they finalized the request I had for about $10 million for streets and infrastructure repair, so we can get things started first thing in the spring.
So that's not what's happening out here right now?
It's not what's right now on Main Street. You're seeing National Grid, NSTAR putting in new gas lines. Eversource.
Yeah.
And putting in new gas lines throughout. So it's a real pain in the neck.
I'm not going to disagree with you there.
They are very slow. They don't do a good job in patching what they do.
But it's vital work. It needs
It's
to
vital
get done.
work, and obviously with leaks and everything, they've been going just about everywhere in the city, digging roads up. So we try to get them in there before we do the road, and we're doing Main Street in the next about a year to 18 months.
Now, going back to the bond, now forgive my ignorance, but a bond is essentially a loan, correct? Yep. So why does the city take out a loan to do work? Do we not have the funds available? How does that all work?
It's for major stuff. So we can borrow for a certain number of years for road construction or for infrastructure with sewers and water.
Maybe building a school.
Building a school, that's a capital improvement. We did pay cash for the senior center. I mean, when we did that, we just wrote a check for that. Library, we took out a loan. And what we're trying to do here, the reason I wanted to get ahead of it was because the state still has ARPA money they're messing around with down there. So we're hoping with the new governor in place, the legislature was holding off giving us money because they wanted to give it to the new governor.
Right.
She's there now. Send us money.
Sure.
So I'm hoping to replace some of these bonds with the ARPA money. Has to be done, you know, in the next almost less than 2 years. So we got to get moving on it. But I'm figuring I can get ahead of the game, getting the bonds request, get everything out to bid. Then if they send us ARPA money, we'll replace the bonds.
Now, you had a pretty good relationship with the previous governor, correct? What are your feelings going forward with the new administration?
Well, I don't know the former AG too well. We've met a few times along the way, but the Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, her and I been friends since I became a mayor. She was a mayor a couple of years before me, so she was one of my go-to people when I had questions. She's always been there for me, so you know we have a great relationship, and I'm expecting them to do fantastic things down there.
Terrific. Let's talk about something really exciting coming up. The charity ball. Well, is it a ball this year?
No, it's not a ball.
It's not a ball. Forgive me.
I think they're going to call it a charity event. So every other year after an election, we have the charity ball, and things kind of get messed up over the last couple of years.
We won't dwell on it, but it's coming back.
We won't dwell on it. It was canceled 3 days before the ball, back when COVID started, 3 days before, Wednesday morning, and it was supposed to go off on Saturday. But funds have been dwindling in the Mayor's Charity Fund because we've been going without, an infusion of money. There are great companies out there that send us money every winter anyway to help us with some of the people in need, whether they can't pay the rent or the electric bill or need oil. So that's what this is for.
So of course you want people to attend, but you're also looking for sponsors.
We need sponsors. There's something on the website, or you can call my office. So we're doing it a little different this year. We're doing it down at the Green District, down at the end of Cimarano Drive. They built a beautiful apartment complex down there, and walking through it, you look around, you say, this is the perfect place to do
this could be a great event space.
A little bit different.
Yeah.
They said it was getting a little stale, so this is different than it was. So we're really excited. On May 13th, we'll be doing that. So call my office or just go on the website and we'll get you some tickets.
We're looking for auction items as well, right?
Yeah, we're going to have a much smaller auction this year. So usually there's a big room with 100 or so things. This year we're going to do a smaller auction with probably a few higher priced items, but the smaller ones, the good thing is that we'll still be utilizing those for either a quick raffle or something like that. So the ball committee takes care of it. I'm not allowed to know what the heck's going on until the end. I go at the beginning and say thank you for doing this, and then I go at the end for saying thank you for doing everything.
Right.
So.
But you don't need to show up in a tux this year. It's a little more casual,
no,
right?
No,
still dressed to impress.
You can bring a bathing suit if you want, but yeah, my suggestion is, you know, it's probably going to be more like a business casual thing.
Yeah.
So.
Tell me about all the fun stuff happening up on the Senior Center on March 8th.
They're doing their St. Patrick's Day party.
And they've been doing that for a while, right?
Yep, and they got a great band. He shows up every year.
The McMurphy Band.
And he's great.
And I'm guessing it's traditional Irish music.
It's definitely traditional Irish music. I believe he'll be down at Kennedy's on the 17th.
Yeah.
He always is. So.
And Kennedy's caters this meal.
They do cater this every year for the seniors, so it's great. They have a great luncheon, and great corned beef and cabbage gets served by the Kennedys, and it's just a great facility, and it's probably the time to recognize that we lost the father of the Kennedys this past couple weeks, and he's just been so instrumental in the city for all the charity events and all the events, and the three kids now are running everything, and they do a great job. They're taking over for all he taught them. So.
Sure. So if you're a Marlborough senior and you're tuning in right now, you probably have to RSVP for this
Absolutely.
event.
This is one that sells out. So Trish will be down there taking reservations, because this one will be sold out.
Right. Get that reservation in right away. Now, I saw something really exciting, the new mural project.
Yep.
And I actually saw on Facebook that there were a whole group of local artists that were meeting up to brainstorm different ideas, the Marlborough Makers Group. What exactly is this mural? Where's it going to be? How's it being funded?
So we have some funding in place through some grants, and we're obviously looking for more because it's going to be an expensive project. But for years we've been talking about murals in Marlborough, and we've kind of push them to the side and not approve them. And the reason being is because you cannot control the content, and who's going to maintain it in the future. Really, those have been my objections. You start getting political opinions on both sides, and you start throwing that up on the walls. It's just a bad image. So those are the two reasons that I really haven't been supportive of them at all.
But we have a clear vision here about what this mural is going to be.
What I've envisioned myself, and it's going to be down on the concrete wall right across from the dollar store on Maple Street, that concrete retaining wall, kind of the history of the city.
Yeah.
So start with the Indians and the apple orchards, and go right through the history of the city to what we have today. And I think it'll work down there. We're waiting to hear from some of the artists. We've had, I believe, one submission so far, but we're expecting many more. We're reaching out to other communities that have done it. I was talking to former Mayor Tom McGee down in Lynn. He told me he did about 50 of them down there. So
wow.
He's kind of my go-to guy when it comes to the murals. But we're excited about doing it and getting it done this summer.
It's something new. It's something that could really freshen up an area where there's just a plain blank wall.
It's been sitting there like that, and you drive by it, and it's like, we got to do something with this. So.
Well, speaking of freshening up the area, every spring we have Project Clean Sweep, and this year it's on April 22nd. What happens?
So we'll all meet down at the DPW barn. Priscilla Ryder, that kind of organizes the thing, will have trash bags and gloves, and she'll have a big map of the city, and if you want to go to a particular area with you or your group, or 2 or 3 of you, she'll just mark down where you're going so she doesn't send someone else there.
Sure.
If you don't care where you go, she'll assign you an area.
Right.
Some of the companies in town get involved, and some go out that day, some go out the day before. So everyone that's involved isn't necessarily going out that morning, but the one-offs, the people that are the groups, the church groups, the Boy Scouts, the Shamrocks will show up that day, and we'll get out there and we'll start collecting tons and tons of trash. We've been doing it every year for many, many years.
It's just inevitable. It starts to build up in the winter because there isn't as much foot traffic, and as the spring comes, people are going to be doing their walks and bike rides and getting out, and it's a great time to refresh your neighborhood.
No, it really is, and when you start walking the streets, you start seeing a lot more of it than if you're just driving by.
Right.
So it's great to get out there and get some areas cleaned up. So.
Right. But it doesn't have to end right then. You can keep doing it throughout the year. Sometimes I grab my little bag from when I've gone shopping, a little plastic bag, and keep it in my pocket because you never know when you're going to find something laying on the street that just needs to be cleaned up.
Absolutely.
Right. And speaking of cleaning things up and making the city beautified, we have the Adopt a Planter program. Are we talking about the planters that are up and down Main Street? What?
Well, we have a couple different ones.
Okay.
So I had put this in, actually, it was, I believe, my first order when I was on a city council back in the 90s. But it was to do an Adopt a Space program. So the islands that are around the city, you'll see little signs on them. So you can adopt those. You maintain it yourself and take care of it.
Where the little statues are all around the city.
Well, any of the islands that are in the city, if you call up and say, there's one down the street from me, I'd like to start taking care of that, you have to maintain it. But we'll put up a sign there that maintained by Ryan.
Yeah.
So, so we have those in the city, and then we started doing, a few years ago, the planter boxes on Main Street and in certain areas. So those are more the ones you're talking about. With a small donation, we'll get your sign up there, and we maintain most of those. Some people come down and refresh it and put other things in it, but for the most part, we maintain those. We've had contests in the past, but the Adopt a Space program has been going in different versions for a number of years and kind of got waylaid a little bit, but we're going to bring it back this year strong.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So I've got one more question that I didn't tell you ahead of time, but I was thinking, you know, as you think of all the different towns and cities in Massachusetts, all of them have their own sort of unique characteristics. We think the North Shore, the South Shore, beach towns. How would you characterize Marlborough and the citizens that choose to live and make their homes here?
Well, it's kind of interesting because we've gone through so many, we've morphed in so many different directions over the years. I just
you think
mentioned
about the shoe factories, and it used to be really
it used to be the shoe
industrial.
town. You know, we had shoe factories everywhere, and we had one of the largest factories in the world at one point. And so that morphed into, you know, Fry Boots and those. Then we had RCA and bringing digital equipment here with the high technology. The New England Sports Center, I can't say enough of the economy that brings to the city. Now we have the Apex Center. We have a thriving office park, and now with a lot of medical device companies and in the medical field, bio companies. So, you know, we're at the crossroads, and we have a little bit of everything. And we have a beautiful beach, and we have, you know, a sledding hill, and we have a beautiful senior center and great schools, and we've got a brand new library opening up in a few weeks. So we're really morphed over the years and changed with the times, where some communities are just
you get left behind.
Well, you know, we went through the apple orchard days where we were the apple, you know, king of the world. Some just get hooked on that, and then they're kind of stuck. So I think as the city of Marlborough goes, we've kind of morphed a lot over the years, and hopefully we keep doing that in the future. But right now, it's just a great place to live, work, and play. Yeah.
One thing that I've heard from the city councilors and residents is it's a city, but it has a small town feel. And when you do things like the tree lighting on the common and the car show on Main Street and the parades, it's this really awesome sense of community that doesn't feel like a city. It feels like you can get involved, that it's not exclusionary, it's so diverse, and it's you see a lot of families around the area too, and meshing that with all the industrialism and great companies that we have here, it's a really great melting pot we have.
Yeah, no, it's really fantastic. Like I say, we have everything here. We're very accessible to get. If you want to go to Boston for the night, and see a show, or if you want to get up to the mountains or down the Cape to go to the ocean. You know, everything is very accessible. And I keep saying to Meredith, the MEDC, I keep telling people it's her and I that are bringing all this industry to town, but realistically, we're at the crossroads. Their employees can get there from any direction, which is important for them. So
awesome. Well, Mayor, it's been a pleasure having you on the show again.
Great to be back.
Wonderful. That brings us to the end of another episode of Corner Office. Stay tuned. We'll have a new fresh episode every month. I'm Ryan, and take care.